Okay, so we're comparing fractional fifths to decimal tenths and hundredths on the number line now, and it makes it so clear to me anyways, if we're looking at the number line, the top line divided into fractions, the bottom line divided into hundredths. If I'm looking at what 1/5 would be equal to on the number line when they're lined up perfectly, it makes it so clear. So 1/5 is equal to 0.20. If we look at 2/5, okay, and we look down onto the second number line, 2/5 is equal to 0.40, and then 3/5 is equal to 0.60, and 4/5 is equal to, I'll just write it over here. Okay, 4/5 is equal to 0.80. And if you're unsure, what you can do is you can change. So I'm just going to take 1/5 and I'm going to change it so that 10 is the denominator. So multiplying by 2 and multiplying by 2. So that would be 2/10, which is right there. Okay, so I'm going to look at 2/5 here, and we're going to see where 0.2 is on the number line. I like to use purple. Okay, so where it is on the number line, and again, we just look down and it's 0.20, and I am comparing it to a 2 being in the tenths place, which is right there. So these would be equivalent. They would be equal to each other. Now, if I'm looking at 4/5, which is over here, looking down, okay, and then I'm looking at where 0.45 would be, 0.45 would be there on that number line. So clearly, 4/5 is further along on the right, so 4/5 would be a greater number. If I'm looking at 3/5 right here on the number line, and then I look and I'm comparing it to 0.60, that is straight across, so they are equivalent. Okay, so there's some activities for you to do to follow on the worksheet.